Hi, I'm David Flowers, licensed professional counselor, and I want to talk to you about decision making. But before I do that, my air purifier just kicked on. I'm going to turn that off here. Anyway, thanks for being here. Welcome. I'm glad you were able to join me. Like I said, I want to talk to you about decision making. In 25 years as a counselor, I've noticed that there seem to be two basic kind of frameworks that people use when they're making and evaluating their decisions. And the weird thing to me is I got thinking about it and I realized, the one framework there of the two that I think is by far the best, I think also is actually the least popular. I'm not exactly sure why that is, although in the blog post I'm going to write to follow up on this video, I'm going to sort of maybe explore that a little bit. So let's talk about the frameworks though. All right. The first framework and the most popular one is what I call an outcome based framework, right? So most people use the outcome of a decision to evaluate whether or not it was the right decision, right? So if I make a decision and it turns out really well, I got the result that I want, then I conclude, hey, that was a pretty good decision. And if the decision, or I'm sorry, if the result that I got was bad, then I say, you know what? I probably made the wrong decision there. I probably shouldn't have gone the direction I did. The problem with this is that you don't ultimately have control over the outcomes of like 99% of the decisions that you make, right? It's like you only actually have control over yourself and what you do. So people who use outcome-based decision making are often filled with anxiety, right? About getting the outcome they want. They worry. There's a lot of anxiety. Oh, how do I say it exactly right? How do I do it exactly right? Or if it's a decision they already made that didn't go well, then they're filled with regret, right? About not getting the result they wanted. And yet, for some people, this seems to be, for most people, I think this seems to be kind of the common way people make decisions. And I'm guessing it's probably the way many or maybe most of you watching this video do it, where the focus really, like I said, is on the outcome. But, I think there's a better way of making, in fact, I know there's a better way of making decisions. And that's when the main focus of the decision isn't on what the outcome is going to be, which again, you have no control over. But the main focus of the decision is just on yourself, right? On your goals, on your own values, on your boundaries, right? And really just on honoring those things, right? That it's really coming from you and who you are and what you feel you need to do and what decision you feel you need to make. So it's beautiful, right? Because you focus on yourself and you are focusing completely on what you and you alone have control over, right? And that's really a recipe for diminishing anxiety. Always try and focus on the things you have control over. So if a friend hurts my feelings and I think, should I talk to him? Should I let it go? And I make the decision to talk to him about it. Let's say he, blows up and says, he doesn't want to be my friend anymore. And so I may well conclude that my decision to talk to him was a terrible decision, right? If I'm evaluating my decision by what the outcome was. But if instead I evaluate my decision based on whether I honored my own boundaries, right? Whether I did what I needed to do in that situation, whether I was true to myself, right? Because if I do that, then I can still feel good about the decision to talk to my friend, even though I may very well end up wishing that he would have responded differently. So I don't let the mere fact that he didn't respond well cause me to go back and second guess my decision. And I see this all the time where a decision doesn't go the way people want. And then they go back and they second guess themselves and they beat themselves up, right? And of course, there's a way to not have to do that, which is to not base your to not focus the decision on the outcome anyway, right? But the other thing is, even when people do have all this regret, it's regret over something that already happened, and there's nothing they can do to change it. It's a terrible situation to be in. Okay, so, you know, I don't end up second guessing my decisions. I mean, nearly as often if I'm just really going based on my own values and boundaries, who I am and what I need, right? Just trying to be faithful to that. And then I don't end up carrying around this kind of sense of responsibility when people don't respond the way that I hope they will, or when situations don't, kind of go according to the result I was hoping to get. So you have decision making focused primarily on outcomes on the one hand, and then on the other hand, you have decision making that's really focused, like I said, way more on your own values and principles. And folks, I just think the second one is way, way, way better. So that's going to be it for now. I want to try and keep these videos a little shorter. But like I said earlier, I am going to write a blog post on this topic a little bit later on this week. And I'm going to take it, probably considerably deeper. And I'm going to explore a lot more aspects of this issue. So if you were into the topic today and you want more, I just encourage you to subscribe to my blog if you haven't yet, or at least keep checking one of my social media channels because a link will pop up there when that is posted. And speaking of social media channels, remember to follow or like my Facebook business page, facebook.com DF Couples Teletherapy, and to share this video far and wide. That would be really helpful. I would super appreciate it. And finally, in the description below the video, you'll find a link to my website where you can follow me on any of my other social media platforms, subscribe to my blog, and all that other good stuff. So thank you again for tuning in, and I will see you next Wednesday.